Hello.
Hi, Rabbi, how are you?
Baruch Hashem. How have you been?
Thank God, it's an honor to have you.
Where are you? In Mexico City?
We're all in Mexico. Well, some of them we are in different places of the country, very close to the city. Most of us are in the city. Some people are, I don't know if you're familiar with the terms Cuernavaca, which is a place close to the city. Some of the people went to Valle de Bravo, some people went to another places. But we all here waiting to hear you.
Anybody in San Miguel?
San Miguel, I don't know, probably. Some of the people also from the States. Somebody's writing, Barda, it's writing from Dallas, Texas.
Nice.
All right, are we ready to start? Everyone is on board? Emilio?
Hola. Hi, everybody. I will speak a little bit in Spanish. Rabbi Manis, it's a pleasure to have you with us. We just remember a few months ago you being with us in Mexico, and you make a big impression. Also, we make a great friendship together. So we find out that there is a great time to have you with us. Mayer is gonna the conversation, and everybody will listen to you. If anybody want to make any question, please use the chat, and Mayer will select the question with us, and then we give to you any other topic that is out of the program that we prepare. I will speak a little bit in Spanish. Bienvenidos todos. Muchas gracias por estar en esta transmisión especial que estamos haciendo con Rahmanis Friedman. Hemos trabajado ya de hace algunos meses con el Raf, vino a México y tenemos la oportunidad de poderlo escuchar. Le doy la palabra a Mayer para que pueda presentar al Raf y que pueda guiar toda la conversación. Si alguien tuviera alguna pregunta que quisiera hacer, les agradeceremos que lo pongan en el chat y de ahí nosotros podremos seleccionar la pregunta para transmitírsela al Raf. Mayer, please start.
Thank you very much, Rabbi. I don't know how you're Spanish, but I'm going to just give a very short brief about what Emilio just said, the format that we're trying to set up here in this conversation. I will introduce you with very few words. You don't need introduction. Most of the people here, they know you very well. They have listened to you. They heard from you. In any case, during your conference, during your shiur, if somebody would like to make a question, they will write it down in a chat and I will choose it and I will forward it to you, if that's okay with you.
Sure.
All right.
Well, you can read it out loud.
Sure. I will read it for you. Okay, Rabbi, so don't waste your time, which is the theme of this conference. I guess there's an implication, which is this pandemic, this COVID-19, it's an opportunity. So it's, of course, a challenge, and we would like to see how this is an opportunity. We'd like to hear from your perspective how this is an opportunity. We'll move from there.
So let me start with an interesting little story. A man was complaining to God that he has no life. I have no life. I'm down to $20. That's it. I have no life. So God said, give me the $20 and I'll give you a life. So the man said, but if I give you the $20, how am I going to buy gas for my car? So God said, you have a car? Give me your car and the $20 and I'll give you a life. So the man said, but if I give you my car, how am I going to get to work? So God said, you have a job? Give me your job and the car and $20 and I'll give you a life. So the man said, but if I give you my job, how am I going to pay the mortgage? How am I going to pay for my house? So God said, oh, you have a house? Give me the house and your job and your car and the $20, and I'll give you a life. So the man said, but if I give you my house, where's my family going to live? So God said, you have a family? Give me the family, give me the house, give me the job, give me the car, and give me the $20, and I'll give you a life. So he does. And then God said, okay, now here's a family, here's a house, here's a job, here's a car, here's $20. Now you have a life. In other words, sometimes we don't even realize we have a life. But we're so distracted, we're so busy with other things that we forget that we actually have a life. This virus, this pandemic, has forced us to recognize what our life is and where our life is. We thought life means traveling, shopping, visiting, sports, entertainment, theater, work. So God took it all away. He said, give it all to me. And then you'll see whether you have a life or not. Life is not about travel. Life is not about shopping. Life is not about sports. Life is not about entertainment. It's not even about work. Life is what happens at home. So God says, stop all the other activities and just stay home, and you'll discover your life. The rest is just commentary. And it became a distraction. You go to work to get out of the house. You go shopping to get away from the house. You go for entertainment to not be in the house. Now, that's not acceptable. It can't be that if you should be stuck in the house with your children for more than 12 hours, you're going to go crazy. That's what people said. What? In the house with our children the whole day? We'll go crazy. That's a terrible, terrible way of living. Even husbands and wives. We're going to be in the house together for the whole day. It's going to be bad news. That is bad news. If you can't look forward to spending full time with your own spouse, with your wife, with your husband, if you can't look forward to spending all the time, unlimited time, with your own children, something is wrong with our lives. So here's the good news. People who have been home, who were quarantined, or what they call lockdown, into their homes, they've had a good experience. They're surprised, but they enjoyed it. They're enjoying it. Children love being home. They're not crazy. Parents are enjoying their own children. And it's a surprise. It shouldn't be a surprise. They're your children. Couples who were having some friction and some problems before this thing, now they're stuck in the house with each other. They're starting to look good. They're starting to like each other. Because without the distractions, without the ability to run away, you have to look at each other differently. And you like what you see. You're happy to be married. You're happy to have this person in your life. because this is your life. So we have grown up. We have become mature. We've become wise. Now we know what is life and what is just distraction from life, just a way to fill time. Young people who are dating, who have a social life or had a social life, and they thought that that was what life was about, now they realize it's so much better without it. The socializing, the dating, it was so not healthy. It's so not real. You're so much better off without it. We're really growing up. It's a good thing. And now that we've broken the habits of what we thought life was about, now we are free. It's like we came out of Egypt again. We're free to design our own lives with a good plan, not just old habits. So going to work, going to school, even going to synagogue, that's not life. Sometimes it's necessary, sometimes it's good, but that's not life. Life is what happens at home. Just like the Seder that we made on Pesach. You don't make a Seder in public, you make it at home. Or your Zaydi's home. But at home, it's a home mitzvah. And that's what we're learning, again, that when God asks us to do mitzvahs, he's not talking to a group, he's not talking to a community, he's not talking to a congregation, he's talking to each person individual. Each Jew is his child, and what your child does is important to you, is precious to you, is sometimes painful to you, but it's the child, not the group. So there are people who this year, Pesach, were completely alone in an apartment. Alone, without a family, just by themselves. They couldn't go out and nobody could come to be with them. And they were worried, what kind of a Seder, what kind of a Pesach are they going to have sitting alone? Particularly if they never made a Seder before. They don't know how to make a Seder. They were always at somebody else's house, or in the Chabad house, or in a synagogue. They never made the Seder by themselves. They don't know how to do it. But now they're going to have to do it by themselves. So they found a little information, instruction online. Rabbis were telling people how to do it, but they couldn't learn it fast enough. And they knew that they would make mistakes. Dip the wrong thing into the wrong thing, you know. But they did it. And most of them say it was something special. They felt alone, but they also felt significant, that what they were doing mattered. Because that's what God is trying to tell us. I don't need big groups. I don't need big rallies. I don't need masses of people. I need you as an individual. And if you're making a Seder at home, by yourself, why are you doing it? Because I asked you to, God is saying. Because I asked you to. You're going to make a Seder for me. And you know you're not good at it. You know you're going to make mistakes. It's not going to be perfect. But you're trying your best. You're doing it for me. That is so perfect. That is so important and so precious. They felt it. Many people told me they actually felt that what they were doing was meaningful and important to God, even though it wasn't perfect. So here's what God is telling us. In the past, in Jewish history, we needed great heroes that did great things. Great numbers of people getting the world right, going to war against the enemies, rebuilding the Beis Hamikdash after it was destroyed. Big numbers of people and very great people. But now, after they did all those great things, God is telling us, you, I don't need for great things. That time is over. The great things have been accomplished. Now I need little things. A little bit here, a little bit there, and the world will be perfect. So you don't have to do massive mitzvahs, tiny mitzvahs. And how do we know that tiny mitzvahs are powerful and can change the world? Because look at what's hurting us. Something tiny, microscopic, and it can devastate the world. So if something microscopically bad can be so destructive, then something microscopically good can change the world. So what is happening to us? God is calling us individually. Stay at home. Nobody else needs to be involved in this. Nobody else even needs to know what mitzvah you're doing at home. But I know, and I know you're doing it for me. And that is much more precious than what happens in the synagogues, than what happens in the streets, than what happens in groups of people. I just need you to do your mitzvah. That is absolutely amazing. There are people who passed away in the last month, 2 months, and their family, their children, couldn't say Kaddish. Now, in the olden days, that would be the biggest tragedy. To die and nobody says Kaddish for you, that was a horrible, horrible thought. And that's why people educated their children and sent them to yeshiva and sent them to cheder and made sure that they knew Hebrew and they knew how to look in a siddur. Because when I die, you're not going to say Kaddish? That was unthinkable. Now, God arranged a situation where people are dying and the survivors can't say Kaddish because they can't put together a minyan. What is God telling us? So there's always people who are negative. There will always be people who will be critical, who love to find faults with others. And they're going to tell you that God doesn't want you in the synagogue. He's fed up with you. We're not good enough. And he's telling us to go to our rooms as a punishment. Stay in your room until you grow up. That is the furthest thing from the truth. That is so not right. What God is telling us is, today when somebody dies, they don't need Kaddish. They are going straight to heaven. Kaddish helps the soul make the adjustment to get through the difficult path. But today, there's no difficult path and there's no adjustments. Every soul that dies today goes straight to heaven. it doesn't need Kaddish. It's a huge compliment. People didn't say Yisker this Yom Tif. There's no minyan. You can say Yisker at home, and people did, and it's good, but it's not perfect. It's not the best. So why? What is God telling us? Again, you can be negative, but that's not true. God is saying today, because we're so close to Mashiach, the neshama, the alma, does not need your Yisker. It's a different time. It's a special time. So the souls that passed away don't need Kaddish. They don't need Yisker. And you don't need groups of people to be able to serve God properly. By yourself, in your home, that's where you serve God best. When nobody's looking, when it's not for the public consumption, nobody's judging you, nobody is watching you, it's just you and God. That's the best. So we're not being punished, God forbid. We're actually being complimented. God is saying, I don't need all these things I used to need. Now I just want you and your mitzvah. And if it's not perfect, I don't care. You're doing it for me. That's all that counts. That's beautiful. So we're coming very close to Mashiach. What's going to happen when Mashiach comes? Everybody's going to be good. What does that mean? What kind of miracle does it take to make the whole world good? There won't be any miracles. Mashiach doesn't do miracles. Mashiach is a teacher, not a magician. What's going to happen when Mashiach comes? So let's take a look at where we are and what needs to change. There are many things I would like to do to improve myself. I want to be better than I am. And I know how. I know what I need to do. And I really want to do it. And it doesn't happen. I've been thinking about it for years, since I was a teenager. There's always something, a distraction. It doesn't happen. I am not what I want to be. And I think that is true of most people. I know how I can be better, and I certainly want to be better. So why hasn't it happened? There's no really good explanation. There's no good reason. That's the world that we live in. It's a damaged world. It's a world of exile. Jews are supposed to be in Israel. We know that we should be in Israel. We even want to be in Israel, but it doesn't happen. And those Jews who are in Israel are being told that they shouldn't be there. It's not their country. It's not their land. They don't belong there. That's a messed up world. So what is wrong with this world is that what ought to be is not. What we want to be, we are not. What is that? What's going to happen when Mashiach comes? Nothing miraculous. The goodness that I know about and that I want, I will have. I will be what I know I should be and what I want to be. And the whole world will be like that. Nature will be like that. You know, we have energy from the sun. We don't need coal. We don't need oil. We don't need nuclear energy. We have the sun. It can give us everything. We want solar energy. We have the sun. We know we should do it. Why hasn't it happened? You can come up with many explanations and excuses. The fact is, it didn't happen. That's because the world is in exile. So the potential doesn't come into reality. It remains potential. That's not a healthy world. What's going to happen when Mashiach comes, every potential will be real. What could be, will be. That's just normal. I want to be good. I know how to be good. Well, why shouldn't I be good? That's normal. That's healthy. So Mashiach doesn't have to do miracles. He just has to take away this craziness that doesn't allow what can be and should be, and we want it to be, doesn't let it become reality. That's not natural. Something's wrong. So Mashiach fixes the world, and all of a sudden, we can be what we know we should be. And that's happening. That's happening. Because we have all this free time, whether we try hard or not, we end up thinking. And when you start thinking without distractions, you discover stuff. You discover that there are a lot of things about yourself that you just don't like. Not right. You discover that you really want to be better. You discover that in some ways you are much better than you thought you were. In other words, you're starting to see clearly, more clearly. Now we just need a little instruction and a little help from Mashiach to make what we want to be become a reality. And that's not a miracle. Even anti-Semitism, it seems like it's getting worse, but it's just getting louder because it's ending. It's phasing out, it's dying out. So they scream louder and they get into the news. But anti-Semitism is finished. It can't go on. Anti-Semitism means jealousy. Jews have a special relationship with God. There's no denying that. And the ones who deny it the most are the Jews, because we're so humble. We don't want to be special, but we are. And our relationship with God is unique. There's nothing like it in the world. And that makes other nations jealous, all of history. But again, what is the alternative to jealousy? If you notice something really special about someone, you can either be jealous or proud. Yeah, you can be respectful, but that's not personal. Proud means I am proud to be part of this event. I'm proud to be part of this world in which God and the Jews have a very special relationship. And that also has started happening. Many nations, many people realize if you bless Jews, you get blessed too. So it's like coming to a wedding. You're not getting married, but you're blessing the couple who are getting married. And that becomes a blessing for you. So this is what is happening in our world. God is telling us that we're very close to perfection. Little things still need to be done. Little. But little things are so powerful. A little virus can devastate the world. A little mitzvah can fix it. Now, if we understand a little bit, what is a virus? What is that? There are two causes for illness that we know of. One is a bacteria and the other is a virus. Bacteria can make a person sick, but there is good bacteria that keeps a person healthy. So if you overdose on antibiotics, you're killing off the good part, the healthy part that the body needs. In viruses, there are no good viruses. There's good cholesterol and bad cholesterol. There's good bacteria and bad bacteria. There is no good virus. Every virus is bad. Why? Because bacteria is a living entity. It's a living cell, or whatever it is. Virus doesn't have a life. It's a dead thing. But like a parasite, it takes life from living things, from your lungs. So it represents not a distorted form of life, it represents a loss of life. It's lifeless. And it steals life from the healthy part. So what is the best reaction to a virus? The best reaction is if a person is fully alive, intensely alive, enthusiastic about life, then the virus can't touch him. The virus can't connect to him. When you're very excited, people can't discourage you, can't drag you down. So interesting that heat destroys the virus. Coldness doesn't, because a virus is cold, lifeless. Where there's warmth, enthusiasm, heat, it kills the virus. So any discouragement, God forbid, any negativity, any loss of hope is so dangerous, because then the virus wins. As soon as you start to be intimidated, as soon as you start giving in a little bit or giving up, that's it, the virus wins. Can't do that. You have to fight death with life. You have to fight cold with warm. You have to fight dark with light. So today, more than ever, we need to be so positive. We need to be so enthusiastic, so optimistic about life and the future and the good things that are coming. We have to be so excited that the virus has to go someplace else. Can't touch you. So what is the positive thinking? We're not going back. When we all recover and we're all healthy again, we're not going back to the life we once had. It wasn't much of a life. Afraid of spending time with your own children? That's called life. Uncomfortable spending a lot of time with your own spouse? This is called living. It was so bad and we didn't even notice. We thought we had life. All we have is distraction from life. A lot of fun distractions. It's not life. So we're not going back to that, ever. We're not going to escape from our homes ever again? Because we don't need to. We like being home. It's where we live. So we're going to look at things differently from now on. Entertainment can't be the same as it once was, particularly for children. Video games, that's part of life. It's all about death. Can't go back to that again. Can't go back to all these empty, superficial, meaningless activities that we thought were so important. No. Sports is nice. You take a look. It's not life. It's spectator. You're watching others live, and what they're doing is also not life. It's just a game or an income. The income is a commentary on life. It's not life. So we have become much more mature. We've become wise. We know the difference between life and the avoidance of life. And we've been avoiding. We've been avoiding. Now we're not going to do that anymore. One other thing, and this is really a bit far-fetched. We're going to go back to work. You want your job back? Why are we thinking so narrow and so petty? Maybe we don't need jobs anymore. Isn't there some other way that we can support our family without going to work and without having a career? We got to think out of the box. Is it realistic to have a 4-day week and go to work only 4 days a week? No, why not? We're thinking about that. Is it possible that work can be nice, enjoyable, pleasant, not anxious, not nasty, not a rat race, not competition, not something that keeps you awake all night and having popping pills to stay calm? Is that what work has to be? Of course not. Work can be cooperative, everybody helping everybody else. In fact, it's going to have to be. If all of us go back to work, who's going to pay? Who has money? Countries are going to want to have trade deals, but nobody has money. So how is anything going to happen? The only way it can happen is if we work together, if we help each other. It's a very different kind of work. You go to work to be useful, to make the world better, not to grab some of the money from others and run away with it. Okay, that's a nice thought, but let's take it one step further. Who says we have to go to work? There's no other way that we can support life. There's no other way that we can have what to eat and what to wear and where to live without having a job that we get paid for. There must be. We got to think big, think new. New things are possible. All depends on our imagination. When Mashiach comes, we won't have to work. Why not now? So don't think, I want to go back. No back. Don't go back. Go forward. And you can go as far forward as your imagination allows. So the only thing we can be sure of is that it's a whole new world. Emilio, a few months ago, we were sitting in your city. It was only a few months ago, but it was a different world. That world is gone. When I come to visit you next time, it's going to be a new world. A new world. A better world.
Absolutely.
So we're not going back, we're going forward. Very far forward. This is all part of the transition from exile, from Golus to Geula. It's a little scary. It's a little painful because every major change is, but we really have nothing to be afraid of. We have to anticipate an improvement in life that is unimaginable. And I'll tell you why. The suffering, the pain of Jewish history is unimaginable. Even after it happened, we can't imagine it. We can't believe it happened. We can't understand it. It's a total mystery. It's horrible beyond description. So if in return for that, we get peace, that's it. That's not an answer. That doesn't justify anything. If the pain was indescribable, then the reward has to be indescribable. If the dark side was indescribable, then the light has to be even more indescribable. So it can't be that we went through horrible times in order to have an okay time. Doesn't make sense. It's not justice. The good news, the pleasure of life, has to be so great that it erases all the pain and all the tragedy and all the suffering of our history. Otherwise, we're not going to accept it. We cannot put in all that suffering and all that blood and tears just to have an okay world, peace. Peace is just the beginning. If there's peace in the world, then we can enjoy the real pleasures of life. But what are they? We can't even imagine. That's how good they are, which makes it even better than the unimaginable pain that we've been through. So plan on a much better life. Do a little goodness when nobody's looking, not with a minion, all by yourself, in your home. Tiny mitzvah, microscopic mitzvahs. Make the right bracha. Do something kind that nobody will know. It won't get written up in the papers. Don't do something on Shabbos that you used to do, but maybe it's not right for Shabbos. Nobody will notice. You won't be a hero, but you will make the world healthier. If a tiny virus can make the world crazy, a tiny mitzvah can make the world healthy. That is the story. That's what we're dealing with. And it is such a privilege. It is such a compliment that God is giving us. You and your mitzvah, that's all I need. Don't try to impress me. Don't save the world. Don't save the planet. We don't need that. Just take advantage of the opportunity that you have to think positive, speak positive, and do good things. So at home, add a little respect to your relationship. If you stop and think, you'll see you've not been respectful to each other. You haven't been careful what tone you use that is sometimes disrespectful. You can't be disrespectful to your own spouse. You can't. It destroys life. Be more respectful. Be more considerate. Find the good things in each other. Admire the good things in each other. It's there. You just haven't paid attention. And if you increase the respect, the relationship becomes strong, deep. When a relationship is strong and deep, it produces love. So don't try to fix the relationship by loving more. You can't force love. You can't artificially generate more love. But you can be more respectful anytime you want. And that will make a healthy relationship, which is lovable. So many couples are finding that spending time alone is actually good for the marriage. They're surprised. They didn't expect it. But it's true. It's true. And you have time to spend with your children. So what are you teaching them? They're home and they're listening. What are you telling them? Now is the time. Now is the time. And when the illness is over, we'll only be better at it. We won't stop and go back to our old habits. The old world is gone. The new world is coming. We have to be ready for it.
Rabbi, let me ask you, share with us the world that you envision that we're going to be happy the day of tomorrow. That new world that you were talking about.
What about it?
Share with us that world that you're thinking about.
The world according to Moshiach is a world in which every Jew is excited to be a Jew. Proud, excited, inspired, delighted. It's a world in which every human being wants to know why he exists or why she exists, why God created them, and what they can do to make God's world better. The new world is a world in which nature provides everything that life needs. So you don't need to work. You don't need to go looking for ways of surviving and supporting your family. It'll become much more easily available. It won't take so much time. It won't take you away from home. It won't be necessary anymore. Those are the three changes that we have to look forward to. Jews being excited, Jews inspired, people looking for ways to be helpful rather than destructive, and nature giving us what we need so we don't have to travel far and wide to make a few dollars to be able to support ourselves.
Since in mortal days we have been planning about these Mashiach days. We need a little bit of help from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, obviously. So I'm linking whatever is happening in the positive way you look at things, that this is the help that we need in order to move ahead with that plan.
You could look at it that way, or you could see it the other way. God needs help. God needs us to do the few mitzvahs left that are still missing to perfect his world. And he'll do everything to inspire us, to make it doable, to make it easier. But he's waiting for us. Today, he's making it easier. He's becoming desperate. So he's saying, okay, fine, I'll do whatever. I'll lock you in the house. Just do the little mitzvahs that I need you to do. And then he'll be happy and we'll be happy and the world will be good. So look forward, be positive. Don't give in to this virus parasite. Life is great and it's going to be greater. And if we can make it greater, that's even more special. Life will be great. That's good. You can make it great. That is really something. So don't lose an opportunity. Don't waste time.
Even with this incredible positive message about what's happening, there's a lot of anxiety out there.
Yes.
How can I deal with that? I know it's
Yes.
by being positive, you're dealing with anxiety, but sometimes it's not enough because still we live in this world when we need to work. We might not need to. That might be the ideal, but a lot of people are losing their jobs. A lot of people are losing their savings. A lot
So
of
what
people
is
are
that?
dying.
So what is that telling us? That maybe the time has come that we don't need jobs anymore. Maybe. Think big. Think out of the box. Some people say, is there a silver lining to everything that's going on? This is not a silver lining. This is pure gold. Pure gold. We've never been so inspired globally as we are today. But of course, if you listen to the news, only bad things are happening. Nothing good is happening, only bad. Don't read the news. It's not true. It's fake news.
Rabbi, tell me
Yes.
something. What about if we are not a religious family and we want to find out that shine of God that is showing now because of the coronavirus? What's the advice you can give to that families or the couples that is starting to see the hands of God moving the world?
Find a rabbi who is a good rabbi, who sees only positive, who appreciates all the positive, and let him teach you. Or go online. There's so much online today. Everybody who knows a little bit of Hebrew is teaching online. Find a source of information and start to live your life properly. And I have to go because today is a special day in the world of Chabad, and we have a program in which we're all participating. It is the birth and the passing of the 5th Lubavitcher Rebbe, and we're celebrating the yard site and the birthday, and I'm a little late for that already. So thank you very, very much. It was a pleasure talking to you. The internet turned out to be not so evil after all, right? We thought it was the worst thing in the world that's going to corrupt everybody. It's a great tool. It all depends on how you use it. So let's use everything for the good, because it is all for the good, so that when Mashiach comes, very, very quickly, very soon, we will be comfortable knowing that we did a little bit to help bring Mashiach.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts, Rabbi. Thank you very much. And
Be
on behalf
well.
of the Monte Sinai community, we really appreciate that you were here with us, and everyone that they sending message all over. They really want to thank you.
It is my pleasure. I have nothing else to do.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Dear
Thank you
Rabbi,
very much.
thank you very much. Thank you for being with us. Let's plan maybe a new conversation during these days. Your first video goes around all the world, so many people want to hear about you. It's been a pleasure to hear you and have your explanation of what is happening. Thank you very much again. In the name of Monte Sinai, in the name of Talmud Torah Monte Sinai, that you've been with us for a week and hope to have you here again.
Thank you. Thank you. Only good news.
Amen.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Emilio, for the opportunity. Gracias, querido.
Gracias a todos por estar en la clase. Vamos a editar algún video que podamos subir. Igual con el link que tienen de YouTube. Si quieren volver a ver el video, lo tienen ahí para enviarlo si ustedes gustan. Muchísimas gracias. Que tengan buenas noches.
Ya está la conferencia posteada en YouTube para el que no alcanzó a verla desde el principio. Gracias a todos.